All right, I'd like to call to order the Village of Marvin Parks, Recreation, and Greenways Board meeting here on May 4th, 2021 at 9:08 a.m. And determination of a quorum, I see myself, Bob Nunnenkamp here, Christina and Dan online, and we have our Kimberly, our council liaison here as well. So we do have a quorum. First, number 3 is the adoption of the agenda. Any recommendations in terms of changes, questions on the agenda?
Can I add a couple things? Or can I request that you guys add a couple things to talk about?
Sure, as long as Austin says we
I'm
can.
fine with it.
Okay. So, under unfinished business, number 4, I would like that to be an update on the easement in Innisbrook for the trails.
Update on Innisbrook Trail easement.
Yep. Number 5 would be the update on our trash pickup day and what that resulted in or did not result in, because I know we had some bad weather. Number 6, Roundabout Plantings. And then under new business, sorry Austin, I'm adding another one. Number 4, under new business would be Village Hall. Christina, how do you want to word this? It's the email that you sent me. Like something about like a garden that Marsh does or some plant.
Well, I was talking about the entire landscape plan.
Okay.
But in addition to that, the potential for educational areas.
Yeah, so we'll say Village Hall landscape plan with PR&G, and then we'll kind of elaborate on that.
Yeah, great, thank you.
Thank you. And that's
Okay.
it. Sorry.
Anybody else?
Quickly typing away.
Okay, then is there a motion on the table to adjust the agenda to reflect unfinished items number 4, which is an update on Innisbrook easement, number 5, which is review of the trash pickup day, and number 6, which is the plantings,
Yep.
as well as a new business item number 4, which is to discuss the Village Hall landscaping plan.
I'm sorry, I also have an update about the trees for trash if we want to add that in there.
So-
we can add it with the trash day.
Oh yeah, perfect.
Just new business or unfinished?
No, we'll just do it under
That
trash.
could
We
be
talked
under
about that
trash.
a couple of times. You guys wanted me to update you about that program. This was a couple action items ago.
Just do it under trash.
That's fine.
We could do that under number 5, trash pickup, I think.
That sounds, yeah, that makes sense.
So now you just need a motion to adopt the agenda as
So
amended.
moved.
Okay.
So moved.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye.
Right.
All right. Next item on the agenda is the adoption of the April 13th, 21 minutes. I know it's in our package. Anybody have any questions or changes they're requesting to be made? If not, do I hear a motion on the table to adopt the April 13th minutes as they are written?
So moved.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay. And number 5 on agenda items is the public comment period. We don't have anyone signed up here, and I don't see.
There's one person there.
There might be one person online. Is there anything that anyone online would like to discuss in public comment? All right. If not, we'll move forward to the public facilities managers update. And item number 1 is a disc golf update.
Right. The disc golf course progress is coming along nicely. I met with the rep yesterday. We walked the layouts, verified all the distances, discussed a couple little issues, ironed all that out. He's getting the order together. The equipment should be in the next 10 to 14 days. I've also ordered some promotional, we call them like flyers for the sponsorship structure, and I'm going to introduce that. I was hoping to have that to give you guys today to, possibly pass out to some people in the community that you think might be interested, but they're not here yet. I might get those to you before the town hall event. If not, I'm on the agenda to discuss the disc golf course that night, so I'll kind of introduce it to the public that night.
Oh, the town hall event.
Next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday.
Is that back at the community thing again?
Yeah.
The church.
Forest Hill Church in
Yes.
Yeah,
Waxhaw.
at the church,
Yeah.
yeah. Or you can attend virtually.
So if all goes well, we should have it hopefully installed and ideally paid for early mid-June is my goal. A little bit behind dealing with the park drainage project, but not too bad. Any questions?
No. Great job.
Do we get to play the first round?
Yes.
Wait, where is it gonna be? Just kidding, just kidding. Just kidding.
Thanks again for doing that, Derek. That's such a cool thing that you added to the park.
He's so bad.
Is everybody okay or do I need to turn the lights on?
Turn on, fine. That'll be good.
All right, moving on to item number 2, which is, and this might be very pertinent as of yesterday, Greenway flooding update.
Yeah, you're right. I did not think to drive by there this morning, but that will be a good thing to go by today. So 2 Fridays ago, the whole park staff went out and blazed a path down what is supposed to be a drainage ditch. And I mean, it was solid woods, and Councilman Wortman had requested that we blaze a path so that he can get a machine in there. Well, it turns out, and I don't know if this is the problem, but there's a ditch dug here, and there's a ditch dug here, and there's no ditch in the middle. So, ideally, that ditch connect, is all one ditch. So his goal is to get in there with a small track hoe and clean that out. I know that he's taken some dirt down there and built up a berm so that any water coming down from the southern side into those woods will hopefully push towards the ditch, not towards the trail. So kind of a 2-pronged effort there with cleaning out the ditch, getting water to flow off the trail through the woods out to the road, and then keeping the water that's on the roadside towards the road. So yes, these next couple days will be a good test.
Yeah, we're supposed to get rain today too.
Today and tomorrow.
afternoon.
Okay.
Heavy stuff too, so
Okay.
that'll be
That
good.
will be a good
A
test.
good test.
Just a quick question
No.
on that. I think the real problem is still that the ditch doesn't drain because all the water's actually come from the other side of the road. So I think if I understood correctly, we still can't address the real problem, which is the ditch that is alongside the road is not graded in properly. Is that still being targeted?
I'll have to speak with Councilman Wortman about that. Because I know y'all had discussed that, and it was a little bit on a different level than what I was familiar with. So I just kind of took my marching orders and cleaned out the woods. But I think I know what you're speaking of, so I can probably ask him about that.
The ditch goes up 6 inches before it goes down feet. So right now the water can't actually flow in the drainage ditch along the road.
Okay.
So it all spills over. Hopefully that berm helps out, but that ditch still needs to drain or we're going to run into the same problem.
Is
and
it,
that's a DOT issue.
is it the
Right.
portion of ditch that is kind of closest to the school?
No,
No? Where?
going the other way. It falls, the whole thing falls the other way, except for when it doesn't, which it should.
Where is the spot you're talking about?
I think I sent you guys I went out and surveyed it, and I sent you guys a map of it, but it's about 100 yards down from where the culvert comes across. Right where the berm was built is about where the culvert comes across the road, which is the huge drainage area that floods our area.
Okay.
And the ditch along the road has to be allowed to actually drain water away down along the road. So unless we solve that, I think we're still gonna run into a problem. I think what you guys did is probably gonna fix a lot of things and make it drain out faster, hopefully, but
Okay.
until that ditch actually grades, we're gonna keep getting the same problem. That's my guess. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's right. We had an issue with DOT. We're having trouble getting them to do it apparently.
Well, regardless, it seems like we'd want to fix it, whether it,
You can't if it's DOTs.
You're talking about this section roughly here, right?
Yeah, it goes up about 6 inches and then about 100 feet down. So that right where you have the first dot is where the water comes from this big drainage area on the other side of the road. And then the ditch actually goes up 6 inches about where your second dot is. You placed it pretty well there.
Thank you.
And where your third dot is, it's about a foot lower than that point, than where the water comes in the culvert at your first point.
So have we talked to DOT about that? Does anybody know? No, okay. All right, so let's, okay.
Rohit,
So when
make
you
that
say
call?
it's raised about 6 inches there in the middle, does that mean that it's trapping water, not letting it fully flow down? It has to get to a certain point before it starts draining down to that lower area?
I think they found the original problem was that because of that hill, the water went
That way.
this way
Correct.
instead.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the drainage that I think you guys did, I'm guessing what you did, sounded like is a really good idea. And if it gets in there, hopefully it'll get out faster, but I don't think it's all gonna get out. Because there's lower spots to the left of the trail where that homeowner's issue is. So I think we still have to get DOT to grade literally, like half a day of shovels maybe could do it, but it's silly to do that, then they should just grade the ditch the right way.
Yeah.
Okay, let's put that on talking to Andy and Christina about
So in
that.
the woods where the trail is, that's about 6 inches lower than where your first point is, where the water comes across, even in the ditch itself. Our trail is the low point.
Okay.
So we need to keep it flowing along the road and down so it never actually makes it to the trail. Because that's what floods us is the neighborhood across where the folks across the street.
Okay. Hey, Dan, if we need you on a phone call with DOT and say Christina and Andy, can you, I don't know when that would be, but would you be willing to be on a call?
Absolutely, yeah.
Awesome, thank you.
I'm thinking that Andy's berm was his attempt at a solution to prevent that.
Yeah.
But Dan, are you saying you don't think that that's gonna fully work?
I don't think that'll work. I think it's great. I think it's going to work on some days. When we get a lot of rain, I don't think it's going to work.
Okay.
The water has to be allowed to
Move.
Yeah, it's close. It might work, but I think it's going to be not quite enough when we get real rain.
Okay.
All right. Next item on the agenda is the park drainage update.
So the park drainage project was a CIP item. This was something I've been, wanting to do for many years, and finally got it done. I think we finished two and a half weeks ago. Took out all the old mulch, dug out some of the clay underneath the playground area, put in a gravel base for a filter, put in new landscape fabric, and then topped it with all new playground mulch. Ideally, that water will go through the mulch, through the gravel, run, put a little bit of a grade onto it, send it downhill, and then put in a French drain at the bottom of the hill before you get to the barn. So
Sounds like it's gonna work well.
hopefully, yeah. I mean, I think we put a good stab at it. So
That was much needed.
yes.
Yeah.
So
Now we just wait for the rains.
yeah, exactly.
That's always the test.
I got to get a little bit more mulch in there. It settled and not quite high enough, so got to go hunt for some money to get a few more truckloads of mulch in there. But yeah, no, it looks really good, and we'll see what the next couple days bring. But I don't anticipate it'll take months of steady rain to really give us any indication of problems.
Okay. Anything else from public facilities managers update? I think we're good. Next items on the agenda are unfinished business items, and number one is discussion of 2022 Marvin Day event planning. And this is Derek. I know that's something that we discussed when we had our joint meeting with council and stuff, and
Yeah.
I know Jamie's expressed.
I don't know how my name
Councilman
ended up
Lyon.
on that.
Well, this is for all of you to discuss.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I don't have anybody that falls to Derek,
Derek's like,
if I don't have anybody that falls to Derek.
I'm still good, with being the point person,
Yeah.
and but I think we talked about a specific meeting
Yeah.
to just
We're-
brainstorm and kind of have.
which we have on the calendar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Literally the next item is to adopt a revised meeting schedule with additional
Okay.
meetings. So
Okay. Was that the one that was in the packet?
yes,
Okay.
every other one, an additional meeting every other month,
Good.
starting this month.
But I think we were all supposed to come back with some ideas
Yeah.
and start that brainstorming process.
Yeah, and one of the things that I'll share that I had kind of thought of was, we got to figure out the structure of it. And I think last time one of the ideas we kind of batted around was, having it be really a Marvin, a celebration of Marvin Day rather than a single specific event. And,
You mean a series of floating events?
Correct, yeah, and whether some might be the same event repeated 2 or 3 times through the day so that people could pick and choose based upon their kids' sports schedules, stuff like that, because those are the things you run into a lot during the spring when you try to have something like this. So, I think that was a really good idea because parking is always a big issue for these type of things, especially with us. So, whether it's, having a couple of events certainly that will take place at the park because, that's kind of what I think we want to kind of have as a home base and focus for the day's events. But that kind of those satellite events kind of go on around that. So people are kind of flowing in and out of the park throughout the day. Maybe we attract them there, at any time during the day so that they can pick up information about what can be seen, all of that type stuff going on in the other areas. Some of the other areas that I had talked about, some of the biggest events that we ever had here in Marvin go back many years to the mayor's events where they had horse things. And I think there's enough horse properties in places where if we give them enough time, people might be open to opening up their farms or their homes to 2 or 3 things. One might do dressage, one might do jumping. I think that's a good thing because it helps to kind of celebrate all the equestrian type things that we do have here in Marvin. But also, a lot of those farms, depending on where they are in flood zones and stuff like that, but to the extent that they continue to be supported over the years, the less building we have, the more open space that we keep. So I think that's a component of it. I think if we have also individual folks that do either crafts or things like that,
Pottery.
pottery.
I know we've got some potters.
Yeah, you know, I think that could be that. I think we could incorporate maybe a garden tour into it, which, I forget who did the garden tour here in Marvin a few years back. There was,
Mary.
okay, was that you guys?
Yeah.
But, you know, kind of incorporate a number of those different things to invite different groups of people to kind of come by the park and then go do these things.
I mean, I
It's
like
a
that
little
idea.
something for every.
You could get
a little
the
something for
churches
everybody.
involved too.
You know?
They can do it. They could do events if they wanted to.
Or maybe we can say, hey, can we have, food trucks at your locations and, have people come by and,
Yeah.
We'll have a new
maybe
village hall
have
too.
Gene Stowe set up somewhere and talking about, having his books and the documentary and talking about the history of Marvin and, I mean,
We'll have a new village hall. Have the big meeting room too,
yep.
and the parking lot.
So,
Get the Raptor Center involved.
yes,
And for the children.
thanks.
Yeah, that
Snakes.
always attracts the
Yeah.
kids, and you have them for 4 to 6
We've got the
hours.
snake guy, he did a great job.
I will be away from the snakes.
No, the snake guy was
But the
awesome.
Raptor Center, with enough time, they don't come for free, but it would be
Yeah.
great for the kids.
What do they bring? The birds?
They bring the birds.
Yeah. Yeah, the
I think
owls.
there
Someone
was
at Waterfowl might do it
Is-
as well.
Is the Raptor Center the one that's like north of Charlotte?
Yes.
Jamie, our finance Jamie, she's on the board there.
Oh, okay.
Shut the front door.
She's on one of their boards.
Awesome.
Alright,
Okay.
super.
Well, can I?
She'll be
I
in
wanna
at
wear
10.
the glove and do they land on my arm?
Yeah,
I wanna
I
do
don't-
that.
So what, just a question, what's their tie to Marvin? Are they
The
gonna,
Raptor
they're gonna do
Center?
birds or snakes that we can find?
Demonstration, yeah.
I
Well, there's
think
no
that,
time
I
tomorrow.
think
Because
they
we're
actually
wildlife
come.
The
habitat,
whole
and that's
purpose, yeah,
wildlife.
the purpose for me is
Yeah, pretty much.
to get children to want to come and bring their parents to
Yeah.
the event. And they love
I
to
can
do the
attest to that.
raptors and snakes and,
They also do a lot of rescues in
They
this
do,
area.
correct.
If you see a bird in distress or an
Yeah.
animal in distress, you
Correct.
call them.
yeah.
And they have people that live locally that are involved with them that come out and rescue.
Yeah.
So raising the awareness of
So
that.
Bob said Raptor Center. Christina, what did you say? Fowl something?
Carolina Waterfowl. It's a
Okay.
similar.
I called them the other day because we had an injured turkey at the park and
Yeah.
then Carolina
You
fowl.
found the turkey.
Yeah,
Did you say?
I saw the turkey.
they came and checked him out and said he was okay,
Okay.
but he was not.
Struggling.
Yeah, he was struggling. I got from me to John and he was just like crouched down.
Aw.
Typically, they're.
Oh,
They're
they're,
usually shy.
they're wary. Trust me.
Okay, so let's
Uh-huh.
let's like start making a list. I like this, and then we
Yeah,
can brainstorm, and then we can dive
So,
into
I
it.
think everybody agrees that we're gonna have different,
Locations.
different pocketed,
Yep.
call it pocketed, or different little satellites.
Yeah, of events throughout.
You can
throughout the
manage
village.
crowd size easier too.
Yeah.
I agree. And I mean, we can do park, we can do people's farms, we can do people's houses, we can
Village
also
hall.
ask the schools, we can also ask Firethorn, like they might, open up, if we give them enough notice
Yeah.
to do something there. I don't
Would that
know.
be like promotion for them?
That's what I'm
Like a
thinking.
trade-off.
Yeah.
I'd love to head up.
Maybe
like
if they
a-
even just open the driving range or something for a couple of
that's a good
hours, you know?
Yeah.
I'd love for Dan to lead a trail run.
Yeah, Dan.
Yeah, maybe I'll ride my bike and everything look at
What he say?
Could ride his bike.
No, I'll do that in a heartbeat. Those trails are so nice to run on. They're great.
Okay, I like that idea. Doing like,
We could, depending on did we decide the time of year we're gonna do this? Did we decide a date yet?
I
Yeah.
think spring, like
It's
a
gonna
year
be
from now.
It'd be late spring, early summer.
yeah, we still don't have
Just
a date.
before school goes out,
We
like
need
a
to
couple
pick
of
a
weeks
date.
before school goes
You
out.
guys have it in the calendar to pick a date by July.
So we don't have much time.
Okay, but it doesn't really matter what time of year it is, this would apply. We could set up somebody at the community gardens because this time of year, they're really looking nice, where the vegetable gardens are.
Yeah.
And somebody could, explain that. But we could also do some nature walks and identify, native plants and birds and whatever. It's not too hard to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think getting Marsh involved and some of your expert gardeners, what are they called? Master gardeners?
Yeah,
That'd be great.
both groups, yes.
Well, and what I was
Raptor
wondering
Center
too.
folks
Yeah, I like the
actually
Raptor
come
Center.
out.
Yeah.
That is, our kids love, I mean, they get so excited about going to that place. That place is, all kids love that. It's nuts.
Probably big kids too.
Just kids.
Me too.
Oh,
Big
it's
kids like it
phenomenal.
too.
Me too.
We also,
Is Jamie gonna want?
we also have a couple of master naturalists around too, so.
He wants a Miss
those
Marvin.
could help with identifications.
He might dress up as Miss Marvin.
Town hall should be done by then, right?
God,
Yes.
let's hope so.
Yeah.
It better be done by
We can
then.
do something there.
If town hall is open by then, that might be a good opportunity where you have representatives from local fire and police
It's a good
that
idea.
people can stop by there.
EMS.
They bring out a SWAT truck, that type of
Good idea.
thing, you know?
What do we call that?
Village Hall,
Meet and greet?
yeah, with, PD, EMS.
You'll have the parking lot, you'll have the meeting room. So you can probably do two things there, maybe
Yeah.
even.
Could we do like we did with the food truck and music, or?
I was definitely thinking we definitely need some food trucks.
Yeah, we
Maybe
can have a
one
food
at
truck
park,
there,
one
also
at
have the
Village
school.
Hall, yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe even one at Fire.
we just
Tower.
advertise that there's food trucks around Marvin and
Yeah.
it keeps people, you know,
Agreed.
kind of going around.
So
to
do
different
food
places.
trucks there, write that up there.
Mhm.
Are you thinking of doing music?
Oh yeah, I bet we've got some like bands in Marvin, like adults that think they're rock stars,
There
right?
happens to be one right there on the screen.
Who? Christina?
Christina.
See, she thinks she's a rock star.
She is.
Oh, no, I know I am.
Oh, good.
All right, so we've got some good ideas to go with.
Yeah.
To start with, yeah.
I'll bring this back to council and
Is the
make sure
garden
that they
tour up
like
there?
this rotating idea.
I just kind of see that's the only
Me too.
real way to get it done.
too.
You know?
So then that way at our next meeting at the end of this month, we'll have yeah, that sounds good, thumbs up, and then we can start really
Okay.
narrowing it down.
That's a lot right there.
What's on the thing? Trail run?
Nature walks, community gardens, garden tour, marsh with the Raptor Center, something at Firethorn, new town hall tour, and meet and greet, food trucks, music, health expo.
Oh, we need horses. Do we have horses? There we go.
I got horses in the back.
Put horse exhibitions.
Yeah. Oh, if you can get your neighbor to open up the alpacas, people love those alpacas throughout Marvin.
You
Holy
could-
smokes.
You want to add the churches to the list? See if they do some
Yeah.
events for kids or something.
Yeah.
That reminds me, if John Jones was here, he would say, old car show.
Oh yeah. We need that at, like the school.
Yeah.
There's a group in Thoreau that does that
Yeah, I actually saw
on a
it.
pretty regular basis.
This
Yeah.
is Marvin, not mine.
Like, I happened to be there by accident. I was like, wow, there are like 100 cool old cars here.
I know,
like,
but you've
convertibles,
got plenty of people in Marvin that have cool old cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That wanna show them off.
One of them is
Yeah.
our mayor.
I was gonna say Joe's one.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think.
Did you have schools as a location?
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's yeah.
Okay.
Now that could be tricky depending on where they are with
Yeah.
playoffs or things like that. But if we
Before
have it now,
that,
most
it would be on
playoffs
the
are done.
Village
right?
I was
Hall.
gonna say by May
From
or
now out?
June, I think
Huh?
we're
Playoffs?
I think we're fine.
Parks.
Because we can use
Village
the
Hall,
elementary schools.
Town hall.
Yeah.
Wait, is it village?
And did you have
Village Hall
garden
around
tours
town.
on there?
Yes.
Yes. Garden Tours is on there.
Oh,
Yeah.
what was the thing that Christina said? The
Carolina fowl. Put them up there.
Carolina waterfowl.
Waterfowl.
Add that with Marsh.
Keep forgetting
And
water.
some of those, we might like provide the barn for like some of those type things.
The snake guy. Put the snake
Because you
guy up
need
there,
inside
too.
and add the sun.
Wherever the
and stuff
snake
like
guy
that.
is, I'm going to be far away.
I think the Carolina waterfowl people do snake rescue too, so, it just
Yeah.
depends on who's showing up.
Okay.
They do a lot of rescue work.
Cool.
All right, I think.
Churches. It's a good
Yeah,
location.
churches.
Yeah.
Well, we're mostly on this half of Marvin. Do you want to do anything on the other half of Marvin towards Weddington J's?
Oh yeah,
Publix
Publix.
has a big
Publix.
parking lot.
Ooh, Publix could do something. We could ask them to.
Pocket
And they
park.
like publicity.
Even our pocket park.
Pocket,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what Rohit just said, Pocket Park.
Yeah. I mean, even if we did nothing between now and then, there's still a little bit of an area over there.
Oh, I hope we do something between now and then.
Yeah, and again, I think we like focus different things at different hours through the day, you know, so.
Do you want to
might
have events
You
repeated?
might have 10 to 12, you know, now you might have a couple of things running at the same time, but, you know, that way people aren't doing one thing through the whole
I
day, you know?
Do you want to have some of the events repeating so people can just literally go from one to the other?
Yes.
Correct.
So have stations
Have them
essentially keep
staggered,
running
You
it.
can
I
kind
mean,
of pick
like
and
you
choose
have-
through your day.
You've got, we'll say, and Bob, I'm just using you as an example, we'll say Bob's house is open from 10 to 12 for a garden tour, and Christina's house is open from 1 to 3, and, you know, my house is open from 3 to 5, not my house, because I don't have a great, you know.
And
It's
somebody's
not
showing
pretty.
dressage
Yes,
at,
from-
you know, 10 to 12
Right.
and 2 to 4.
Right.
Or somebody's showing,
I mean, and that's
Something
kind of
else.
how I see it happening.
Do we want to do a cook-off?
No.
No.
I don't know, maybe. I say no, but I don't know.
we're gonna
If
do
we
the
have
food,
food
we're gonna
trucks-
do the food trucks
Yeah.
to track them.
I like the food truck ideas. That gives us variety and it also promotes those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know that people love food trucks, so they rolled up on Friday and stopped,
Get
took
the ice
food,
cream.
left.
Left, didn't even
Yeah.
stay, didn't talk to anybody,
Yeah.
didn't get a picture.
I'd get an ice cream truck out there.
Oh, yes, or a
Yeah.
slushy
Please,
beer.
Snow
coffee or
cone.
ice cream or both.
Beer. Food truck.
Our neighborhood does it, and it's so inexpensive
Kegs.
to do, and the kids.
That'll have
just
to be
go
on
crazy.
county
Of
land.
course, I go
Yeah.
crazy about it too. so.
All right, so here's some ideas to think about, you know,
Yep.
what would you want to take and run with?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And when we had that meeting, did we plan that, because I know Jamie wanted to kind of,
Yeah.
was he planning to be at that meeting?
He's coming to he's coming to
The
a future
workshop.
meeting and it's in his calendar.
Okay.
It's either the July or August normal meeting he's going to come to.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna let us work out some details,
But he's
yeah.
planning on coming
He's
to
coming
the
on-
workshop one.
He's coming on July 13th, because I have it in my calendar.
Okay.
So that's the normal meeting. That's when you guys are supposed to have a day picked out and.
But I mean, we could invite him to the
Yeah.
planning meeting.
Yeah, I would say invite him to the planning meeting, you know, and
Okay.
it doesn't constitute a quorum if you still want
Oh, yeah,
to be
no.
at that.
Yep.
So, you know, that way it just, you know,
Yep.
there's more
So let's ask
communication
him to
back
come
and
to the
forth.
one at the end of the month, this month, the 24th.
Well, do you want it at the end of this month or do you want it at the planning meeting at the end of July?
No, this
That'd be-
one.
Okay.
Start, because
Because by July, we're supposed to have decisions made.
Yeah. I would say have him.
Well, could I make a suggestion? Could I make a suggestion that we take the first hour to discuss our ideas, kind of get some kind of feel for what we're gonna do, and then let him come in on the second hour?
Yeah, come in at like 10.
Okay,
We
yeah,
start at
that's
9, have him come at 10.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's a good idea.
Yep. Okay, everybody good with this so far?
Yes, I think it's great. We've got a lot.
There's a lot to do.
All right.
Well, yeah, but that's like,
Oh, it's gonna be
Unfinished business item number 2, consider adoption of revised PRG meeting schedule. Austin.
Okay, so I actually don't have my packet with me, but oh, here you go. So I followed your direction. Every other month is an additional meeting. May 25th. They're all Tuesdays at 9 a.m. Last Tuesday of the month. Tuesday, May 25th at 9 a.m. July 27th.
wait, when was June's?
There's no one.
Every other.
Every
sorry.
other. So May 25th, July 27th, September 28th, and November 30th. And that'll finish out this year.
September 28th. Oh,
Got it on my calendar.
okay, and then November what?
November 2nd. November 30th.
Oh, that's my birthday. You guys should mark your calendar. That's my birthday. That's my birthday.
All right, so
I'll tell you what I like for presents.
So do I have a motion on the table to adopt the
Oh.
2021 Parks Recreation and Greenway Board meeting schedule as revised on May 4th,
So moved.
2021?
So moved.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Who was the second?
Dan.
Okay.
Just put me down for a second. I'll try and get it in there every time.
All right, next item on the agenda is Pocket Park update. So Rohi, I think we were finally getting things transferred over.
Yes. So the council saw and agreed to the terms of the deed transfer at their last meeting. They're in April, and so Publix is gonna get that executed and then give it to us, and then we're gonna get it executed. They do take a little time to sign anything because they're a big corporation, but yeah, we're in the last step of the process, which is to sign the thing.
Good job.
That's it. And then once we do that, we can build whatever we planned the next day. I do have one other update in that regard, which is that we've been talking to Weddington Chase, who's got money to build a sidewalk to connect to that trail through their HOA strip, and they really want to flare the trail out a few feet to the east, because that would allow them to build their trail through a gap in the woods, basically.
Yeah, because they've got fencing there too.
Yeah.
They probably want to get around.
Let me try to
I was
pull that
gonna
up
say,
for
show
a
me.
bit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because they've got, I forget if it's like cross rail fencing or something like that.
Yeah, it's some sort of decorative, cross rail fence. That's correct. So it's here. I have to also share the screen. So basically, our trail looks like this, and they want to build their trail through this gap in the woods right here, which I didn't realize you could see so clearly on Google satellite. So what that would require us to do is basically, and we might not have to do this, like if they pay for it with the money that they have, that's all the better. But basically, it would require us to have about this much trail. We measured it out. It's like a 10-foot difference at most.
I've actually been there when I was checking it out, and girls were coming back and forth through there into Weddington Chase, hopping the fence there.
Yeah. It's pretty clear. They might have to remove one tree that's not even healthy.
Now the only thing I would say though is somewhere along there is it's like a runoff, or it kind of looks like a ditch.
There's a ditch. So that's another. There is a ditch.
Okay,
along the edge of the property, and they've already talked about
just putting
having a little
round culvert.
Yeah, under the trail.
That's all you would need, like we have in front of the barn.
Yeah.
You know.
Who is gonna build their trail?
They've got a contractor. So they got the money from the developer, which was a term of the original rezoning for Marvin Gardens.
Okay.
So they have the money, they have the contractor, they're gonna do it,
Okay.
and all we are really asking in advance is they give us a site plan so that they would just be responsible for that whole kind of thing.
Does their trail have to match our trails?
No, they're gonna do a sidewalk.
Oh, okay.
They're gonna do a sidewalk all the way up to the point where it meets our trail.
Okay.
And this is grass in this area, so they don't have to do any reconstruction.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they think they can do it within their budget, so.
Fantastic.
It's
Sounds
Do
great.
they
pretty much
have
it.
an, do they have an anticipated date to roll it?
They said 6 weeks, I think. Right? You said, I think
It's
you said-
pretty quick, yeah.
Yeah,
He said he had his guy lined up, wasn't top priority, but he was gonna work him in.
yeah, and anyway, we have to wait for our deed to be executed for them to even start work, so it seems like it's gonna line up.
And we
Sounds
need to
good.
approve it before they start.
Right.
Okay.
That's good.
Cool.
Any
Okay.
issues there?
No.
Okay.
I'm good with
Awesome.
So once we get the okay to do whatever it is we're gonna do, then literally what do we do next? Because I've never been involved in anything like this.
Derek, don't we have money in the next year's budget, meaning July 1st, to work on this?
The pocket park,
Yeah,
yeah.
the pocket park. Christina, that's what you're talking about, right?
Is that
Yeah.
approved?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, because
I think so.
that group of
Well,
trees
that's
there,
not-
that's gotta kind of come out.
I
Yeah,
think.
Trees.
they're not really trees.
They look
Yeah,
They look like trees, don't they?
yeah.
Christina, what's your, be more specific with your question.
So once it's ours to do with as we will, I mean, there's a lot of work to be done there, and how do we do that? I'm being vague because I
Like,
don't know
who's coming up with-
what the next step is.
Well, we have the plans, like we've approved, council's approved the plans that you guys
Your bar napkin.
presented. Yeah, you're now, yeah, when you're out
Yeah, really.
boozing it up. So council's approved that, and so as soon as, budget's approved, which should be, it's May, this month, right? Yeah, we're approving the budget this month, right?
End of the month.
End of the month. So, once you hit July 1st, like, we can talk to Derek about clearing and kind of what the steps need to be, or we can talk about that in the June meeting, so that when July hits, Derek has his marching orders.
We got plenty of time on this one.
Is that
So,
all being
Yeah, that's-
contracted, or where did we end up on that in terms of, I know we talked about doing stuff ourselves and so forth, where's that kind of land?
Some of it's,
Derek,
Sorry.
I
So-
don't know.
I mean,
some of it, I
Andy
think-
offered to do some of it.
yeah, some of it I think we're gonna need to contract, like getting rid of those scrub trees. We're gonna
Yeah.
want to have somebody get rid of, and in doing that, I think in concert with the plan that was originally provided. I mean, a lot of it lays out very naturally right now. It's really only kind of the walking trails within. So I don't know if we feel confident in our own abilities to do the trail like that at this point, or do we bring in the people that we do that have all our other trails at that point? But I think those trails are gonna be going through mainly natural areas, looking for guidance from Christina on, these are areas that we wanna keep natural and that should stay, whereas here's some areas that we want to maybe introduce some more native plants to and things like that to, better beautify the area.
For a rough
Yeah,
clearing,
and I'm happy to do that, to help with that.
for a rough clearing, I have a quote of $3,000 to clear it all out to bare dirt. I think we budgeted 10.
Clear all out? Cause I'm not really sure that we're gonna be clearing a whole lot of that area out. I think we're gonna be mainly clearing that one area and then areas for the
And
trails.
then mowing down the rest.
Yeah, and then
Right.
mowing down.
Right.
Cause if you
So
look at
there's
it,
about a third of it that I cut out for, picnic tables, and so that would be more like grass or mulch or
Correct.
whatever you want to use.
yeah,
That would need to be cleared out. But the rest of it there's certain things that I would probably go and just pull out to just, so they would stop seeding everywhere. But otherwise, it's got some, I know that you may disagree, but it's got some really nice grass that's growing in there. Some
Well,
really nice
that's what I
little
mean,
trees
though.
that will turn into big trees.
when you say cleared out, like, let's say cleared out area for the grassy area. I mean, does that mean we wanna clear it out and plant grass, or do we just wanna brush hog pretty much
Initially.
the areas that we want, Because when you look at even this, when we say clearing out, I see that group of stuff that needs to be knocked down. But beyond that, I don't see much more that a brush hog couldn't handle.
we might need to make a
This
field trip
picture
out
looks-
there.
Rather
This
than,
picture looks a little old.
Yeah.
and it might be, yeah,
When Rohit and I were out there yesterday, I was taken back with how thick it was.
yeah.
It was,
Yeah.
I mean,
It-
it was
it's-
briars and blackberries and,
No, it's thick.
it's
Yeah.
real thick. So
It doesn't take long for nature to take over.
if it were me, I would gut it all. Cause I want it to be as low
Yeah, I
maintenance
would
as
not
possible.
do that at all. So we probably need to talk about how we want to handle this. That's what I was kind of getting at. I don't want to clear cut this and then try to plant things back into it. That's sort of the opposite of what I was trying to get at.
Well, let me ask you a question. what is it we want as a result of the activity? Because that'll determine whether we bush hog it or
Well, we
plant
have
grass.
we have a
or not.
design that we want
Yeah.
to get to, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But is the design
And that's all,
flexible?
the idea was, we wanted a place for the public to be able to come, they could, have some picnic tables, but that we had the rest of it, like 2/3 of it, was more natural area where we can put bird houses, bird baths, things like that, that is a true natural area for whatever wildlife might fly over there or live in there.
Well, I mean, the
That
notes
does not
I
mean a
have,
bunch of weeds, it means, and it's a little more complicated than that, right? If I just let it go, it will turn into non-natives. But if I take out the non-natives, the invasive species like that privet, and add back in natives, they will eventually take over and compound all the non-natives. But it is a process.
So would that be happening, so we cut the trails, so we clear that, we're gonna have to clear, probably gonna have to clear, maybe brush hog, but probably clear the area that you want picnic
To the
tables.
tree, yeah.
And then
Exactly.
You're gonna
cut the trails,
And trails,
and then,
yep.
then let marsh over time build up the other sections inside the trails. Is
That would make sense.
Right, and they kind of cordoned off, and again, it's more of a find that invasive species, pull them out and keep, kind of working at that, but then adding back things that ought to be there.
What I'm trying.
Christina,
Native honeysuckle instead of a Japanese honeysuckle kind of idea.
Christina,
Yes.
can you take your rendering that you drew and draw it into a way that the landscaping company can take it and they can see what they would need to do? Like,
Yeah.
Where you have it.
I can certainly do that. I think probably a conversation with them would help too. And to really show them what I mean, I haven't
Yeah.
had great
I would
success with-
think that the trail alignment could be flexible based on if Christina and the
Yeah.
landscaper went out there and actually identified where the plants are that you want to remove and what the ones you want to keep. Then you can redraw.
That might naturally lay out where
Yeah.
you put the trails
Exactly.
because it
And
doesn't,
that was
they're
my-
meandering.
Absolutely my
Exactly.
idea. Like if there's a decent sized tree in the middle of a path, go around it kind of thing, right?
Right.
There would be no point.
Like, don't blaze that.
Yeah, I was
trail.
more concerned when Derek mentioned that $3,000 that we're kind of cutting it down, and would be replanting and stuff like that,
Yep.
But,
And I'm more than happy to help with that communication, but I think in person would probably be better. I mean, I'll draw it, absolutely. But I think talking to them and walking through it.
That's what I was gonna say, I think a field trip is
That's
needed.
important.
Right.
A field trip, yes, in big tall boots, yes.
yeah, I think if you take your original plan and have a couple of copies of it, meet there with the landscaper as you kind of walk it, mark down the notes, and you could pretty much come up with an approved plan for what they need to do
Yep.
and what you would want to do, kind of go forward from there.
Right, sort of a translated plan for them, yeah, absolutely. And happy to do that.
Okay.
Should that happen? I mean, obviously, we're gonna get the funding in July, but should that happen in the summer when stuff's like crazy growing, or should we do that in the
We
fall?
can go ahead, we can absolutely go ahead and pull that pivot out as soon as anybody wants to do it. Because
Okay.
frankly, it would be better to
Yeah.
pull it out before it sets another round of seeds,
Okay,
right?
okay.
So that would be good. And actually, I mean, I can go over there anytime. It's close to my house, obviously. But seeing it at, full growth is not a bad thing.
Okay,
Because that's kind of like, July is its worst case scenario probably.
okay. I was just asking because I don't know.
So it doesn't matter to me. We can do it now. We can do it in September, whatever.
No, I mean, I think start working on it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll get the funding in July. So Christina, I would just say get up with Derek about scheduling something with the landscaper. And then you guys can
Okay.
go out and meet and talk about that if you're willing to
And
do
by
that.
next month's meeting,
Yeah,
we might have something to look at and everybody feels comfortable with.
yeah, that would be good.
So we need to try to schedule a walkthrough before next month's meeting. Is that?
I would.
Does that sound realistic, Derek?
I keep forgetting the doors there. Sorry.
We'll try.
Gone to the bathroom or something.
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay.
I have one question about the pocket park. You were gonna work on a letter for art teachers.
I better put that on my list again.
Put that on your list, and then we'll get that out to them so that they can start.
Letter for teachers.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Kim or John, remind me, I remember Bob saying something about naming the park, and we were gonna let the kids also, they were gonna do like a design and like a logo design and a name for the park. They're gonna do both.
No, just the logo. I'm not worried about it's probably just gonna be a Marvin Pocket Park. But I'm not worried about the naming. I just want like a logo design.
But and one question about that though, was that design going to be something that we use for pocket parks or just this pocket?
Just this pocket park.
Okay.
Just this one.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm hoping that whatever that we come up with, whatever they come up with, we can add that in, like for some reason this one has stuck in my head, the rainbow pocket park kind of thing. So it's this kind of rainbow thing, and all of the birdhouses are a different color or something like that. That we can use that idea in the rest of the park.
Yeah, I
don't know.
mean, I think we just have to see what they come up with,
Yeah.
and we pick
Exactly.
it, and then
Yeah.
we
Let
can
them
go on a
do
theme
it.
for it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And hopefully it's not glitter bombs and unicorns, but I'll
Well,
do what I have to.
There might be some of those,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you gotta figure you're gonna have
A wide range.
a whole bunch of submissions. At least that's what
We
I'm.
will be extremely pleased.
I think if we
I've
could
done
give
this
some
with
guidance
Pepsi,
on
Yeah.
and we'll
on
be extremely
purpose.
pleased with that.
Meaning we're treating it as a natural area.
Yeah, it's a very
Park
good point.
and we have some key aspects, and I'm gonna probably get them wrong, but I really appreciated your drawing, Christina. A butterfly garden, or we have an area for pollinators, we have water for animals, we have natural habitat. So if we could give them some kind of guidance about that's what this park is, and then have them come up with stuff based on that, that would be.
Yeah, that would be in maybe my
Glitter bombs and the unicorns a little bit.
that would be good to have for my description that I would provide to the
Correct.
to the teachers.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah, if you could just send me a little note and then I'll incorporate that into a larger letter. Like
Okay.
we're looking for the design to reflect.
Wildlife or whatever.
Yeah.
Perfect. You got it.
All right.
Derek, while you were gone, I think Christina wanted to tell you she wants to coordinate that site walk as soon as possible. Right?
Well, before next meeting.
I would like
Before
us
the
to
next
get back to
meeting, yeah.
them at the next meeting. So if we could do the site walk with the landscaper between now and the next meeting, if that can happen, that would be good.
Okay.
All right, moving on to the added update on Innisbrook Easement.
All right, so I've got a lot of updates on this one.
Yay!
Yay! So just to recap, this is Innisbrook over here. It's off of Marvin Road, and it's kind of in a little alcove in terms of connectivity. So
Here's my house.
yeah, there's Kim's house out here. So in that regard, the idea was conceived that we would try to find a location to connect to the preserve trail, which is going along the back of the preserve and is scheduled to be built sometime in the upcoming fiscal year. So the location here was identified as the only real gap in this row of houses, and it just so it happens that this homeowner is amenable to that idea. There are some people that moved into this house over here a few weeks ago, and so let me just start by saying, me and Derek and I went out there and met this homeowner, Tommy Whitehead, and he was amenable to it as long as it looked good and it was landscaped, buffered well. And his only concern was to put the entrance to the trail as far away from his driveway as possible. So we met out there and kind of found roughly that, you know, we can really put this trail along the property line, and we also identified the best course of action would be to put it on his property alone, so we don't have to deal with two property owners' easements.
But the new homeowner was okay having the trail there.
At the first meeting, the new homeowner hasn't moved in yet.
Okay.
So the second meeting I had with our engineer, Mike Walden, that is when we met the new homeowner for the first time. He had just moved in 2 weeks ago. And he is also amenable to the trail the same way. He wants to be involved in the design process.
Yeah.
But in general, he is also amenable to the trail as long as it looks good and it's landscaped from his property. So there are a couple of things going on here. With the meeting I had with our engineer, Mike, he said that the trail's curb cut could be as close to 2 or 3 feet from the drainage box, which is right here.
Okay.
So that's nice. I thought, you know, I was afraid he'd say it had to be as far away as,
Which pushes you over into
Yeah.
his driveway.
right
Yeah.
where the curb kind of transitions into the valley type, but he said you can cut that curb as close to 2 or 3 feet away, like from the drainage box. So
Okay.
that's great. There's also already this kind of the beginning of this landscape buffer here in this area, so we just kind of work around that, and then kind of build landscaping on both sides of the trail, such that even the edge of the landscaping is all within the Whitehead's property line, which
Yeah.
is approximately here. The other thing that's going on here on this side of the situation is that there's a drainage easement and big drainage pipe that's coming from all of the neighborhood's storm drainage. There's a
Oh,
big
because that
pipe.
kind of goes down to
Yeah.
that roundabout. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
So
roundabout, cul-de-sac.
right. So that there's a big section of riprap, and it's kind of unruly.
Yeah.
And both homeowners actually said, if you're gonna do this trail, can you make that part pretty? And independently, our engineer said, what we can do is actually just extend the pipe all the way to the creek and then top it off. So that would solve the drainage issues that would
Gotcha.
arise from it being a dip there.
Yeah.
And it would make it look pretty because the pipe is discharging directly into the creek without this
Big
section
runoff
of,
area.
yeah. And he also said it would not be that expensive to build that section of maybe 50 feet of pipe.
It's
And
not that far, because
It's
I've
not that
been
far.
out there and walked it.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's not that
I have
far.
been out there and looked at it.
And he said he would give me a quote
On the
on
road.
that. So the quote would be for, you know, the pipe and then building dirt over it so the trail would be flat.
Basically on top, could it be,
Yeah,
could the
it
trail
would
be
be
on
on top.
top of
It
it?
would be
That'd
on
be
top.
great. Okay.
Because otherwise we'd have the issue in the future where any huge rain would be
Yeah.
washing our trail away.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that kind of solves cures for that design issue.
Right. Let me draw a little bit of an elevation, I guess. An elevation kind of cross section, if this is understandable. So this is pretty much flat but decreasing all the way up until this point here where it like really
Drops
like
off.
drops off, and then there's this creek here. So that's the last, I guess, component of it, where we would have to have about a 15-foot bridge.
Right.
But as discussed before, it would be preferable for that bridge to be kind of maybe decorative iron bridge, or maybe wood, but something that looks good.
Did Mike happen to mention, like, he wouldn't give us a quote on that?
No, he didn't give us a quote on that because we have to decide like what kind of bridge it's gonna be,
Yeah.
how wide it's gonna be, and you need to do some more inspections on how the span has to be and where it has to anchor in. So he's not gonna give us a quote on that yet, but
But he is working on a quote.
he's working on a quote of
How large a span do you think it? Because that's kind of the issue we always got into with the Chimneys Trail as well. once you start having to do a bridge of any sort, the dollars get quite a bit higher.
I mean, the creek's not that wide, but to get from bank to bank and have enough, it's probably 15 feet. I'd say that's
Yeah,
probably
it's
right.
probably 15.
It's
Yeah.
not fun. The width of this room.
Okay.
The creek is.
But it's not.
The
deep.
bridge would be the bridge would be probably the span of the width of this
Yeah.
room, not the creek. The
The
creek
creek's
is probably
probably
the width of the table.
Table.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
but-
That's a lot smaller, cause,
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever seen the issue with the tar kiln
So,
over the chimneys, but yeah.
Right, so this is my kind of rendition of if we filled this area here, and so the trail would be flat, and then we'd build a bridge at that level. This is what basically Mike
Now,
is saying.
is that
that's all.
still on his property, or is
Yes,
that
yes.
then into?
It's all,
no, it would
HOA.
be where the white line is. Rohit's is giving you like,
yeah, up here is just a profile view, but this would be the alignment of the trail. Now, I think the question is, is it still on his property entirely, or is there HOA property?
That's what I'm,
Yeah, yeah. Now, here's the,
no, I
here's
think
the,
it's all on Tommy's.
yeah, I don't think they have
I
a
don't think
preservation strip.
I don't think there
It
is.
doesn't,
either.
yeah, they don't have a preservation strip in this neighborhood, so the property
Okay,
of the homeowner goes all the way to the back of the
Okay.
neighborhood.
yeah, I didn't know if there was a buffer that's owned by the
Yeah.
HOA or something.
And that creek is right here. That's where we have to, that's where we'd have to do with the preserves HOA, but we already, we're
Yeah.
dealing with them for the,
We have the trail, like,
for the trail
yeah, we've got the
easement,
easement,
we
so.
just have to kind of
Where
redraw
it
a little
sits.
spur in this area.
Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah.
so I know obviously we're getting money for Preserve Trail again in July. And I think we added money for this section of it as well. What I would like to do is go ahead and secure the easement.
So that one more thing, which
Okay.
you're gonna like to hear,
Oh, okay,
is
good.
that Mike said, I'd like to confirm with Chaplin, but since there is already some easements for stormwater and drainage, Mike says you can build a trail in a drainage easement without getting a trail easement.
Is this 20 foot from here to here or 20 feet from here to here? That does say 20 feet, right?
Correct.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's,
that is 20 feet, right?
well,
that's a good question.
so wait
A
a
lot of
minute
lines
though.
here.
Because I feel like this is the property line, correct?
Yes.
So
Let me-
even if it's 10 feet, our trails are what, 8 feet wide?
Right, so there are two
Although
easements going on.
although you also want to leave some room for the screening
Right, so
on both sides, because if you're
This
putting
is-
screening on both sides, you're gonna need 4 foot for whatever.
Oh,
Oh, so
absolutely.
you're saying 20 foot from there and then
So
20 feet from there
You're
to
talking
there?
8 plus another 8. You're talking about 16 feet.
At least.
So you've got 20 feet.
yeah, so that's the sewer easement. The blue is the drainage easement, and the green is the sewer easement, where I didn't mention this yet, but there's also like a manhole somewhere
Yeah.
around
Yeah, but
here.
those easements seem to be on the other guy's property.
Yeah, not from
Right.
here to here, but
Right.
that's the stormwater, so we've got
Right.
20 feet here, so we
Right.
should be fine.
So then the one last thing is, since there is a sewer line going through this sewer easement, basically, we just need to consider plants that
Yeah.
don't go
Deep
too deep
roots.
with their roots.
Yeah.
So we
Well,
have 20 feet to work with from it?
Yes, roughly. And
So can you confirm that with Chaplin, like,
Yeah, 'cause-
before our meeting on Tuesday?
sure, I'll put that on. Austin, can you put that on action items there?
Yep.
That would be awesome, because if that's 20 feet and we don't have to get an easement,
And we can just build on it. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah,
That'd be like, this is the easiest project we've ever done.
I
So,
haven't heard
Greenway
that though in the
Chapel.
past. My understanding is that when we were dealing with utilities, because whether it's the power lines or things like that utilities can have an easement, but that easement comes from the private property owner.
Mhm.
And that if you're talking about another easement for a
Mhm.
trail or something, that would once again still have to come to the property owner. That
Yeah, I've
just
seen
'cause
that
they-
too, and which is why, Mike said
Okay.
this, but
I
I
just
want
wanna
to
make
confirm with
sure,
Chaplin.
So
Yeah.
confirm with
Confirm.
Chaplin ability to build in an existing utility easement.
Yes.
so you
okay.
confirm
Trail,
that with
yeah.
Chaplin, find that out. If the answer is no, then we start figuring out what we need to do to secure that.
Right, we would just have to talk to this homeowner and get a trail easement in
So
this
let's
area.
start working on that, because I want to get that
Mhm.
especially because he is very favorable for this. Let's go ahead and get it
Right,
done,
while
and then
iron's
as
hot.
correct, and then as soon as we hit July and get money, then we can start, building it and start making plans for it. But right, Derek, because we're gonna work on the preserve.
If we can get 3 quotes.
Can we not get 3 quotes?
It's harder and harder these days to get anything done building.
That's crazy.
Okay. Well, are we talking about that on Thursday? No, we're not. We're
No.
not. Something
All right,
else.
let's keep things moving here. We
Okay.
feel good about where we're at here.
Can I ask one thing real fast? Is it just when we get done with this, can we do something? Recognize the homeowners here for their cooperation in some way, because they could really make our life miserable, and they're doing a good thing for the community by a lot, not.
Yeah, and I think we want to advertise that, and I was going to bring this up separately. I got an email, from somebody that looked over the PRG plan, and one of my neighbors for the old Chimneys Trail, she noticed it on there and sent me an email this week. I was going to share with folks, where she's concerned, that she's on this map. And, we want to respect any homeowners, and we're not taking anybody's land, that we've been doing all voluntary easements. I sent her a note back. But I think when people see that other people are doing these things and happy to do so, and that they see us as a board, as a council, doing them responsibly and working cooperatively with homeowners, whether it's on screening issues or other things, like they said, once we get something like this successfully done, whether it's in the village, newsletter we send out or something like that, just a description of what they did, how
absolutely.
it went,
Yeah.
something like that, I think it'd be a good
I
idea
agree.
to help others kind of see what the vision is, and that when we do these things, we're not just running
Taking
over
it,
people.
Yeah,
We're working in responsible
That's a
ways
good idea.
for
I agree.
everyone,
I think that's great. Yep.
Right.
Good.
Yeah, I'm good. I think I
Good
covered-
idea though, Dan.
I don't know what the appropriate thing is, but maybe we can name a section of a trail after or something. I don't know. They just really appreciate their
Put a sign on the tree.
community involvement or community spirit.
That's a good
Yeah.
idea.
All right.
I think I covered everything
At all levels.
in this project. Any other questions?
Nope.
Okie doke.
Good job. Thanks for it.
All right, on to unfinished business item number 5, trash pickup. I guess I can kind of start out on that one. So we did have the rains come that morning. Right at the time we were supposed to meet at 8 o'clock, it started raining. So we did have Loretta from Union County Litter Busters did drop off the supplies and so forth. I picked it up. I was at the park at 8 a.m. We hadn't, Austin, I don't know if you received anything more than but we hadn't
I hadn't
received
heard
much
nothing.
back from the HOA list that we had sent it to.
They don't respond.
And
We need to solve again.
when I went to the park, there was myself, my daughter, there was a neighbor of mine who actually came, and she actually walked and did our neighborhood. My daughter and my girlfriend, they did Newtown down one section of the road toward Providence. And a couple of really nice young men from the high school, they were called Marvin Road Maintenance, and apparently they have a presence on next door. But it's a group of young kids that attend Marvin Ridge. I don't know if they're IB, they might need to accumulate community hours, but there was a young man, and do you have that book that I gave you? There was a young man whose name was Lucas Dunker and Robert Young, a couple of young men that have started this group about a year and a half ago, and every couple of weeks, I didn't even know they were doing this, but they go out and they do a section of roads in Marvin. and they put those towards community hours, towards their service and stuff. They're already training some new kids. Both these guys were seniors, but they've got some new kids following on, and oftentimes when it's not raining, they'll have a group of 6 to 10 kids that might come and do it. So that was one good thing that came out of what was otherwise kind of a washout. Somebody that we definitely want to incorporate into the next time we kind of do it, because they want to stay as an ongoing situation, and I did just want to recognize those couple of young men that did come out now.
Did the person that had contacted the village, did they show up that wanted to schedule a cleanup day?
Yeah, so that was more from an organizational side. That was Michael.
Yeah, they organized Mike Winchester.
Mike Winchester and Loretta.
Okay.
So they were more on the organizational side, providing bags, providing the litter picker-uppers that
Okay.
Yeah,
I
they
dropped
had-
all those back here.
Okay.
So they weren't necessarily there for that
I thought there
day.
was somebody that, that's fine. I did not get anything from our homeowners association. So that's kind of, I was like, well, maybe they didn't do it because it was going to rain. And
We
so
had it in our
I-
Friday newsletter, and we did on social media, but I got no response.
Yeah.
The only HOA response I got was from Tom Becker in Weddington Chase. He did send it to his residence, I was told.
And,
Well, it didn't go out in our neighborhood.
and I did get an email from Amy Poley.
Okay.
But that was when we first kind of said save the date, and that more information would be coming. So she did get more information that she was looking
She just
for.
didn't share it.
But that I don't know
No,
if
she
did or
didn't share it
Yeah,
because I didn't get
no,
it.
I didn't
So,
know.
okay. So I know that,
Can I make a request
sure.
or a thought, recommendation? I think the HOA presidents serve a very important role in communication within Marvin. I think we all agree to that. And Austin's getting no communication whatsoever, follow-up or follow-through. Would it not be worth council's time to bring the HOA presidents in? To
Good
talk?
luck contacting them. They don't respond. They won't respond to anything we do. We don't have phone numbers for a lot of them either. That's
Well,
all I know.
what I will say though is that when they had those series of HOA meetings that Mike had organized, I was pleasantly surprised
lot of
with
people there.
with the number of HOA presidents that did show up, and not just once, but
A few
for the
times.
series of 3 or 4 meetings
Yeah.
that we had. Now, one thing that I think, and one of the reasons why I think that was helpful, because it wasn't seen necessarily as something that was being run by the village, but I think they saw it as a way to have, different voices heard and to contribute to that conversation, but not necessarily be under the village. So as much as we'd like to kind of coordinate, it might take someone, kind of
I can go back to
growing it
I
from
know
the grassroots.
Yeah, I know Mike right currently. I brought it up to him.
Yeah.
Reestablishing. I think there was some, and I don't know this because I don't sit in on it, but I think there was some gnashing of teeth sometimes in terms of frustration and so on and so forth, in terms of follow through and things. I would love to see that reestablished because
I think it's
we
just,
could get a lot done by involving them.
I wholeheartedly agree. I think it's just a matter of somebody just taking the reins and
Well,
doing it.
does it have to be an HOA president
No.
that does it?
No.
No.
But I think that the people that you're gonna get the most out of is HOA presidents or somebody on the boards.
Yeah.
So no, I don't think it has to be a president. I think if you want to do it, I think you can try to get it going again. And I think that, or if you've got somebody else in mind, if Gilboy wants to do it again, then
Well, let me talk.
Now,
to
now
Mike
the other
and
thing
his
we
thoughts.
don't know though too is they could be going to former. I don't know how updated our list is, and we don't necessarily get.
Well, we were originally, one of the things we were talking about for our website was to have an interactive HOA page where you could connect to your HOA, but we realized it would be too hard to keep those contacts updated because they change all the time.
They do.
That could be
well,
more
like
of the
ours
issue too.
goes to like a Innisbrook HOA email.
But not all of them do.
But yeah,
I know.
most
I'm
of
just
them.
saying ours does. So,
When we got the trail certified, I had incorrect HOA president information.
I had it too. I had to get changed.
You had the same
Yeah.
thing. So a lot of it is we're just contacting the wrong people.
right.
And a lot of times, the ones that if you do send it to the wrong person, they will respond and say, "Hey, send it to this person." But a
Right.
lot of times, when you send it to the right person doesn't respond.
Right.
So I think it's a matter of, yes, I think that would be great if somebody can get that going again, but I'm kind
Let me
of,
get with Mike.
but I understand what John's saying, that
Yeah,
it probably,
that makes sense.
you
No.
can have people come from the village and talk and give updates, but I think having it kind of separated is a good thing.
Okay. More organic outside the
Yeah.
confines of it.
Yep. But always, you know, somebody from the village will always be willing to go and talk and give updates, for sure.
Well, I'll follow up with Mike.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Just a quick question. Would it be appropriate to recognize the young men that organized that cleanup effort in some way? Do you think that
Yeah,
helps
is there
them?
some, these guys are seniors and you know,
I mean-
maybe there's something council could do, you know, how they do a merit proclamation of, you know, a group that's done something for, if I can get some more information about them.
Yeah. I mean, we'll always look at it. I mean,
And highlight the whole group, because it sounds like it's gonna continue on, which is the best news.
Yeah, well, I would reach out to them. I've got their names. I could reach out to them. I could ask them, you know, for, you know, a little more information about their group, what they've been doing, right? And then maybe who are their graduating seniors, so that we could recognize their graduating seniors as a part of this group for the past year and a half, has maintained this. New folks are coming in to continue this. They do a great service to Marvin. Thank you. You know, that type of thing.
Is there any reason we can't just make something up and put it on paper for them, or is there some other rules against it?
I was thinking that if we do that and propose it to council, that coming from council, it could be something they could put in their resumes or something like that, you know?
Got it.
I'm just thinking if I was a senior getting personally recognized by the village council or mayor, like that would make my day.
We're also government
you know.
dorks, so.
I think also maybe we could do the juniors next year or something, because I think that probably helps on their applications for college in some way if they have some kind of recognition like that.
Definitely.
or it's just a proclamation for this group,
Yeah.
whatever they're called, and everybody gets a proclamation that's part of the group. They
And-
can
yeah,
pick it
and
up
they're
and
part of the
stick it in
memory.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we put that on our website?
What on the website?
Yeah.
So,
Acknowledging
acknowledge
somebody.
Yeah,
and
once
what's going on
we
at
get
the
something
school.
formalized.
Yeah, once we have something nailed down, we can,
That'd be
absolutely.
great.
Okay.
And what is the group called?
Marvin Road Maintenance. I believe they have they're on next door, I think.
Yeah, oh yeah, I've seen them on next door.
Okay.
They're the best part of next door.
All right.
Well, before you move on, sorry, trees for trash was also.
Oh yeah, Christina.
Oh, trees for trash.
Yeah. So this is quick. I contacted Tara Moore with North Carolina Wildlife Federation, and we can absolutely tie into their Trees for Trash program. What that means is for every 25 pounds of trash, and yes, you really do weigh it, you get a plant, a free plant. They only do native plants, but you know, they have a long list of shrubs and trees and all this stuff. So between the pocket park, the new village hall, we've got plenty of places to plant things. And we can just tie in, if we decide to do this again, this trash pickup thing again, say October or late September, that would be a great time to get some plants and, you know, do whatever we need to with them. She's gonna send me a list, she hasn't yet.
Do we know-
Bob's surprised.
Do we know how much trash we picked up?
It was about. I don't know what the boys picked up. We picked up about 3 bags. So I would say about 5 or 6 bags.
I meant like
And
pounds
another
wise.
bag or two, there was a guy coming my way on Marvin Road, on Newtown Road, and we met in the middle, I don't know who he was, but he says he does this to get out of the house. So he had a good sized bag.
I was just wondering if we weighed it this time.
Mine didn't weigh very much. That plastic's light.
Oh, I know where we could get tons of trash.
Yeah.
The
Tons?
tire dump.
Oh yeah, one tire, that's.
Where's
gotta
the
be worth it.
tire dump?
The tire dump's right off, Tullamore Trail. There's hundreds of tires.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Where, like,
If you're walking Tullamore Trail
uh-huh,
and you're on the trailhead,
yeah.
Austin, across the creek on the left, there's a tire dump.
Just been there for years and
It's
just
been there for years.
abandoned
It's
and
just
Like
been
on the
abandoned.
Marvin Creek side?
Correct.
Huh.
Dan, you've seen it, haven't you? Not
I was
really?
trying to think of where you were talking about. I don't know if I've noticed it really, but I understand where you're talking
it's
about.
across the creek.
sizable? Is it sizable? I don't know how many.
Oh, it's
Hundreds.
sizable. There's well, that's not
Hundreds
probably,
sounds
I'd say 50, 60, 70 tires.
I mean, that's a bunch of plants right there.
That's a ton of,
That sounds like a winter project.
well, absolutely. With the snakes, I would agree. Copperheads will probably be
Snakes,
all over
I'm
the
not
place.
sticking my hand in a
No,
tire.
there'll be a lot of copperheads over there with that creek. So, but anyway, if we want to really max out, we could hit that tire dump to her point.
I
in
could
the
build the
winter.
communications into that. You lost me at Copperheads.
Yeah, but that would be a huge win in terms of plants. Trust me.
No, seriously, that is a great idea, and
That
it needs
is.
to be removed.
That is a great idea. Okay, cool.
So the longer thing there is, do we want to schedule another one, in the fall? And so we have a spring one and a fall one, and, we just kind of do that every year, or maybe we have them quarterly. I don't, whatever you want to do.
I think twice a year is probably good, and I think if we get the date out
Middle
early enough.
October.
Yeah, we get the date before it gets too cold, but it's not blaring hot, and stuff's starting to die, and snakes are going away.
Yeah, that's 6 months, middle of April, middle of October is 6 months.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
generally,
And we can be tied into Loretta's group as well as Trees for Trash. We can do both,
yeah.
if that makes sense.
So Austin, let's put that on our next agenda, the June agenda, to pick a date for our fall cleanup, and we'll get it, and we'll start now. Maybe not now, but like August,
Summer,
we'll start
end of
it.
summer.
Yeah,
And maybe because we're tying it to something that if you do this, we'll get this free thing. Maybe
Yeah.
that'll help get people more involved. I don't know.
yeah, we'll
I
work.
know that my HOA didn't send out a thing, and I
Yeah.
forgot to do it too, so I could have at least done it.
Well, I mean, that's, doing it this far in advance, we can really start working on, the language to
Yes.
get out to the community.
Right.
All right. Anything else on trash pickup? Moving on to new business items, discussion
No, we
of.
still have one more.
Yeah. Roundabout
Oh,
Plantings.
6, roundabout planting, sorry. Add that to the side.
Bob, that's all you.
Oh, me?
Yeah,
Okay.
He didn't even leave the room.
I know.
What?
And I'm
It's a joke. If you leave the room here, you get volunteered for things.
I've heard a lot of complaints about the roundabout. Yes, from an
Me
It's
too.
bad.
It looks bad, let's
Me
all
too.
just be real honest. And we need to talk about, hey, what are we gonna do? I don't know if it's the dirt, I don't know if it's the watering, maybe it's plant selection, all that. But it doesn't look good. And we need to figure out and re-meet and decide what we're gonna do about it.
I agree.
And I think town council agrees with that, I think everybody agrees with it. So-
Yeah.
So it's a matter of just deciding what we wanna do. And say, hey, we gotta go look at this thing. And, we need some evergreens there, non-deciduous plants that stay green all year long. The Laura petals, boy, they're looking bad. Normally Laura petals this time of year look great. So there's a lot we need to talk about, and I think just re-meet as a small group of people and come back to the PRG and say, hey, here's what we'd like to do, and then carry it forward to the town council and not make it a big brouhaha.
Do we need to do some soil testing? Like what?
I don't know what they did. Did
Do
they
we-
do soil replacement?
Yeah, they added stuff, right, Derek? Did they add some topsoil? They cut off the top of the cupcake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember if they added soil or
I
not.
feel like they did. I feel like that was in the quote with some soil.
Yeah.
Because I thought the existing soil was no good.
Yeah.
Well, because it was construction
Yeah.
soil. There wasn't like blocky stuff in there. Yeah.
But the
I'm
reason,
happy to go out there and collect stuff for a soil test and send it off. I mean, they're free right now.
the thing that is a little concerning.
You
got-
really don't know what's going on unless you do a soil test,
Yeah.
but I can tell you if it's fill dirt, it's not gonna grow anything.
Well, and field dirt has nothing, no nutrient, none.
No.
And the thing that's a little concerning, they put in zoysia, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zoysia's getting green everywhere, except on.
I was about to say the
Yeah.
grass
All
is
around
very
that.
dull.
So it tells me, I think we've got a soil issue, and I agree with Christina. We need to get soil samples and find out what the soil's like, and then make decisions.
Wasn't that tree supposed to bloom by now? The one in the middle?
Everything was.
Everything is
Okay,
supposed to.
so Derek, where are we? Because I know you're not happy with who's maintaining it. So fill us in on what's going on there.
Well, so I've spoken to them about upping their maintenance. That obviously costs money, right? And we don't have that budgeted. So Jamie and I are trying to figure out where we can find some money. I would like to put out options for getting a different company in there, one that can facilitate the needs that we have.
Is this the same company maintaining that did it originally? Because I know
Yeah.
we were shocked at how low the price came in for them
Yes.
to do both.
The company maintaining it is not the company that built it.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay, so I would, obviously, I'd like to put it out for bids and see what, different companies come in. That's gonna cost money, right? To spend, to get more, we gotta spend more, and that's not budgeted right now, so.
Sure.
I'm, love to hear recommendations or desires, thoughts, ideas, if you wanna do soil tests or.
I think the
Whatever.
baseline has to be the soil.
Well,
test,
I've
'cause
got-
without
in
the
fact-
soil,
In
we're
fact, I've got some soil sample boxes at the house.
Yeah,
I can just get over there with Christina, or I can do it and get some soil samples
Yeah.
and send them off and find out what we have.
I think.
Let's get it.
I've got the boxes
Hold
and
on.
everything.
Yeah, I do too. So we can
Yeah, oh, okay,
do
good.
several.
I think if we,
Yeah, you need to do so.
I think if we can get the weeds under control, get the grass to turn green,
Yeah.
and put new mulch in, that would make a big difference. And then we can start, if we wanna,
Are the trees alive?
are the trees
Yeah,
alive?
I was gonna ask, has anybody been in the area to check to see if it's alive?
Because they're not,
I'll do that
I don't
in a
think they're
minute after
leafy.
this meeting.
There's not been one leaf on those trees.
and they're probably dead.
Derek, don't we have a guarantee
Yeah.
with the,
See, I think the Laura petals look great. I mean, they look like they've grown a lot since they've
I'll
been
go out there and
planted.
look at them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
how,
I'm happy to go right
Can
now.
I go?
As soon as this meeting's over, we can go out there and,
Yeah.
have a discussion. We can
Yeah.
meet whoever.
I'm happy to meet you out there and stand in the middle of them because it might look different in there
Yeah.
than,
Well, I'd like to be out
yeah,
there
as you're
too.
going by at 50 miles an hour.
25,
probably work.
Christina, 25.
Take those vests, please.
Please don't get hit by a
I
car.
was gonna say,
We don't need that right now.
Derek, so whoever put them in is not the one that was maintaining them. Why did I think that they were maintaining them? Because they were supposed to do the water with the water truck, so it's a totally different company that's maintaining them.
Correct. We got quoted for water if we needed it.
Did we not take it?
Well, I don't think we needed it after this winter.
Well, we need it now.
We need to get the spring, that's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The spring has been really dry.
really dry. I agree.
Okay, so do we have a plan? Does everybody feel good about this plan?
Could it even be that the lack of water in the spring, now assuming it hasn't killed them, but we're getting this rain now, that we might start to see them kind of filling
That
out?
grass should be green right now.
Yeah.
So
Let's
Derek,
just take.
Yeah, that's why I think we need to go look at it.
Yeah.
I do
okay.
too, and I think Derek, whatever's dead, then we need to go ahead and contact them, because if it's dead, they might as well come out, we'll rip it out and go ahead and replace it, instead of waiting until, and then we can start watering it, and,
Well, the thing,
and whatever mulch they put down is that like,
Dirty stuff.
it's, I mean, I want like chunky mulch, and if we have to pay more for that, that's fine, we'll find the money, but that, whatever that flaky, it was crappy mulch,
I've already got that on the way.
okay.
just as a point, if we do plant replacement, we need to do it now. If we wait 30 days to do it, I don't recommend putting
Yep.
anything.
Oh, no, we're not, if
We wait till the fall to put things in,
yeah, but,
Yeah.
because they'll dry.
but can we not put grass in now?
Oh, you can put grass in,
So, I mean, if,
But it's still gonna need to be
but it's
watered
gonna,
a lot more.
but it's only a certain type of grass. You can't put in fescue now.
no, but replace whatever.
Zoysia?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can put zoysia.
So if anything's dead, that's what I'm telling Derek, if anything's dead right now, tell them now so they can get it replaced, because like you said, if not, then you might as well wait till the fall to
Oh,
replace
yeah.
stuff. But they need to start watering, like we need to have somebody
Oh,
start
yeah.
watering that stuff.
That may be part of the problem.
And I mean, obviously, once we build town hall and tap into the water, we can start irrigating it, because we have,
Right.
you know,
Water
and that stuff's gonna have to be watered every year, even once the roots are established, because my yard still needs to be watered.
Is it, well, that brings up a question. The water source, is that gonna be a well water source, or is that gonna be municipal water?
I think we're tapping into municipal.
Well,
water.
it will cost Marvin a fortune.
Yeah, I
That
thought we
will
talked
cost
about it.
Marvin a
well.
fortune. You're much better off putting a well in.
Yeah,
That's a fast payback.
I'm sorry?
That's a fast
That's
payback.
a huge
Yeah.
fast payback.
Well,
We did a well,
for
it took us
town
2.5
hall,
years to pay
it
back.
will be, we will not be on a well. So,
yeah,
But you
no,
could
we
put
had
in it.
talked
but
about
we could,
that.
we could, and we may do that,
Yeah.
but we cannot do that because we can only disturb X number of acres while we're building town hall.
Okay.
So that that will have to be a project
Down the
later
road.
on.
Yeah,
Well, if you're doing the disturbance, isn't it gonna be somewhere in that disturbance anyway that the well gets done? I mean, I can tell you from experience, you don't wanna do the well after you gotta drive that truck over and stuff.
Yeah.
You wanna do that first,
Yeah.
and not
Get
second.
done.
and the well you could probably put somewhere where you're already disturbing.
You're looking at a $10,000 investment, 8 to 10 for a well,
Aren't we
and it'll
wrong?
pay back in about 2 years, 2.5.
Aren't we right on the edge of what we can and cannot disturb? Like
Yes.
marred, like
Right.
insanely thin
But Dan does
margin?
have a good point. If we can build a well somewhere in the disturbed area.
Correct.
Right.
That's where
I'm just
you're
gonna
gonna wanna put it anyway.
pull up the plan
Okay,
real
well,
quick.
that is not on the agenda right
I
now.
know.
So we
I brought
will,
it in.
we will put that on, also put that on our agenda to talk
I
about on
need to ask,
Tuesday.
I need to-
What specifically?
The well and.
Just to give you an idea, just my silly little yard, which I moved down here not realizing people actually irrigate lawns. I thought that was crazy. That that was like $500-600 a month.
Yeah.
You want this on the Tuesday agenda?
So that adds up fast
No, big time.
for city water.
No grass.
Okay, so we,
All right?
we're
Okay,
good.
do we have a plan? Everybody feel good
I think-
about it?
yeah,
Yep.
we're good.
So let's put that on PRG's agenda for next month to follow up, or put on our action item to follow up. We're
So on
already-
Tuesday, council agenda, and on the next PRG agenda for next month.
I want the well on council's agenda next week.
Okay.
I want just where are we with the roundabout plantings and updates for Park Rec and Greenway June meeting.
PRG roundabout plantings for June. Okay. All right.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is the new business items, and number 1 is discussion of Eagle Scout project.
Oh, was this something you guys wanted to talk about? Christina, did you want to talk about meeting with the Eagle
I
Scout?
didn't put that on here, but I did, Harrison Bellamy, who is a Flagstaff High Schooler, I love his name. He, showed up at that they redid the community garden open house kind of thing, and is going to scope out some spaces for swings. But I have not heard back from him. He was going to, put some flags in some areas and send me pictures, but he has not done that yet.
Oh, I've gotten this question from my youngest daughter a number of times, and I keep forgetting to ask, but you mentioned swings. Whatever happened to the rope swing with the tire?
It broke.
Oh, it just broke. It wasn't
Yeah.
taken down for any other reason or anything. Okay, gotcha.
Harrison and I spoke about a potential Eagle Scout project. We've discussed a number of ideas, but the thing that I like is like a porch swing on a 6x6 frame, pergola style. I saw a different version of it at a park in Fort Mill where they have 4 posts with brick at the bottom, and then like a miniature pergola top underneath it with the porch swing hanging from it. So it's kind of the idea that I'm pitching to him to take and run with. I would say the other thing is I think we had talked about previously you guys coming up with a list of potential Eagle Scout projects, and then we put that on the website. But then having like a point person, these kids want to meet at the craziest hours, and I just can't go out there at some of the times they want to meet me, to discuss these projects. So I need a couple people who can be on call to potentially meet with them and just go over their ideas, maybe bring it back to the board.
I'd be glad to do that if I'm available.
I would find it, I would find it helpful if we kind of made a list of things that we thought we could use.
Mm-hmm.
And like you suggested, Derek, and then if they have an idea, maybe we can fit it into our idea.
Yeah. So Austin, we can create a web page, right?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. And then we'll just list ideas that PRG that we have.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So do we
Well,
want,
and even to the point of saying, for example, we don't need any more benches. I don't know if we do or not. But, so the next guy who says I'm gonna build a bench, like, yeah, we don't need those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Because I don't know what you need or don't need.
Yeah.
why don't we work on our list
Mm-hmm.
for the next meeting for June, that's everybody's homework, and come back with a list of things that we would like to see, and then we'll run it past Derek and see if we need those things or not, and if they're feasible, and then we can start working on the list. And Bob said he'll head up the talking to people.
Yeah, you just said you would meet people out there.
Yeah, I will meet people.
Yeah, meet people out there.
Okay, sure.
I'm like, you just said it.
But dozed off.
If you want to run it past me before the next meeting too, I mean, I can kind of say yes or no, or how that might work, or what might be some of the challenges.
Okay, so
Is there a list that exists of park needs now that would incorporate some of those things that they could do, like a maintenance list that we could pick from? Or is that really not? We should just come up with this. That's the easiest thing to do.
Probably just come up with it.
and then if
I
you
mean,
think
I
it's-
have a list up here.
and then you can
but-
add to ours.
Yeah.
How about that,
Okay,
Derek?
so you're coming up with a list like bench number 5 is messed up. We need a new bench for number 5 or something like that.
Sure.
But you can add to our list that we come up with.
Mm-hmm.
I'm asking. Yes or no?
Me?
Yes, you, Derek.
Sure.
Okay. Because you said you have a list in your head, so if we
Yeah, I'll bring it.
say here's our list of all the stuff that we think that we could use at the park, on the trails,
Well, I'll bring my
Whatever.
list to the party, and
and then
then we can
perfect.
take from the pool of ideas.
Perfect. Or we can include them all, because I like to be inclusive.
It's
Look, we're talking about.
Derek's like, it's a big list.
a big list.
That's fine. That's fine. It can be our wish list, and then people can come and pick and
They can
choose.
pick, yeah, that's true.
Right? I mean, right. It's I might not want to do a bench, but I might want to do I don't know, something else. I always come up with benches because that's what Christina always says. So, Yeah, it's like a wedding registry.
Well,
Not
they always
everybody's gonna
do.
pick one, same thing.
But with an Eagle Scout project, and this is the part I'm not clear on, they generally want to create something new, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't want to maintain things.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
they
so
don't
when
want
we
to come
make our
back.
list, when we make our list, I want to make sure that we take into account that there may be maintenance required after that, and Eagle Scout will be long gone.
Yes.
Yeah. It's the same problem we have in the Master Gardeners group.
Are we all, this is probably a silly question, but like, say, I know you like benches, but more like a bench along the Marvin loop. Are we allowed to talk about things along those trails as well, or do we have the ability to do stuff there?
Absolutely.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yes.
That's where
Fitness trail.
Tullamore Trail.
Can they build a fitness trail?
They-
That would be great for a
absolutely.
bench.
They want to raise. They could go raise the sponsorships and install the fitness trail. Yes.
I can think of a nice little bridge. It doesn't have to be fancy. I just want something you can lay across that creek over there.
Perfect.
I know that.
There you go, I agree with you too.
Are we talking about your Andes Creek?
If they haul me some 2x12s back there, I'll build a bridge real fast.
I think it needs the one by the connect to the to connect in.
He's motivated by chocolate.
No, he's,
Oh.
He's
no,
talking about
he's
Andes.
Oh,
Andes.
gotcha.
Over Meadowbrook or whatever.
I was thinking about taking my ladder over there,
Every-
just laying it down with some plywood on top of it and making that.
I agree with you.
Alright.
All right, the next item on the agenda is number 2 in new business, discussion and consideration of revised PRG board rules of procedure.
Okay, I can't believe I didn't print out my packet. Thank you, Bob. Okay, so basically what this is council has discussed raising your stipend to $75, which is make it equivalent to what the planning board gets because you guys have been putting in a lot of work. And basically we're asking you guys to revise your rules of procedure to allow us to do this. The specific language we're looking at is to change it to change the stipend to an amount consistent with the annual budget to be paid in accordance with board stipend policies. So basically we can set the stipend amount based on our budget, but we're looking at $75 currently. Council on Tuesday will also be considering a policy to allow you to collect your stipends annually instead of quarterly, but it's your preference.
That's great. Thank you.
Told you we take care of it.
Thank you.
All right.
Sorry, one more thing.
Oh.
So, if you guys wish to approve this as is, you just need to move to adopt the revised PRG rules of procedure as presented.
Okay, do I hear a motion on the table to adopt the Village of Marvin revised revised Parks, Recreation, and Greenways rules of procedure?
So moved.
Need a
I
second.
think he's on mute. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Yeah, I was on the second.
I saw your lips moving. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
What is that annually now?
$1 million.
And that should be $900.
Well, it depends on the number of, meetings.
Oh, is this still based on number of meetings?
It's
Regular
number of regular
Regular
meetings, so the
meetings.
work
Not
sessions
your-
wouldn't count.
Yeah, not your added
Yeah.
meetings.
Okay.
So $75 times 12. Somebody do the math because I can't do
It's
that.
$900.
Yeah,
There you go.
roughly.
What that means is I can increase my March donation.
There you go.
There you go.
Yes.
All right,
These checks are.
That's gonna be good.
It is.
next,
Especially when you get another member.
I know.
Which we're working on.
It's a pay raise.
I know.
speaking of which, next item on the agenda, number 3, is recruiting a new board member. And I can say, I mentioned this to Austin the other day, I did reach out to a neighbor of mine. She had actually interviewed for the open council position. Her name is Angel Martin.
Oh yeah.
But after that, I don't think she had a lot of involvement in village government, but she had expressed interest, and I had spoken to her after she put her name in for council. So she does have some interest. I spoke to her last Friday, I think it was.
She's already emailed me this morning.
She did,
And I sent her
okay.
the application this morning.
Okay, so I did have somebody in the pipeline that has an
Great.
interest in getting involved. But certainly others are welcome to, and, you know, council always takes a look at options.
I also reached out to someone who applied last year, right after we appointed Sherry to the board. Someone applied that same week. I reached out to him to see if he was still interested. Haven't heard back. So.
Is that Mr.
Yeah.
Taylor?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But so there's a couple in the pipeline anyway that are at least contacting
Yeah,
Austin. So. Any, just the only thing I'd say is that in addition to us, if you do know people, there were also positions in
We have a board of
Heritage
adjustment.
District and Board of Adjustment.
Mm-hmm.
So there's other opportunities for
Yes.
volunteers as well, if they were to apply to this and you know, we're always looking for people.
Always.
Somewhere, some board,
Dude,
somehow.
haven't we had a couple other people apply for other board positions that we got filled recently?
You had you had someone apply for the last planning board position, and he is waiting to see if another vacancy will open up. But other than that, not really.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Good deal.
Anything else on recruiting? And we'll move on to new business item number 4, Village Hall landscape.
Christina, that's all you, girl.
So, I went to the groundbreaking ceremony the other day, which was very awesome. And we were talking about trees for trash and getting free plates and all that. It made me think about, how we're gonna do, or how the landscape plan is done for the whole village hall. And it seems to me that since we are a certified wildlife community with the North Carolina Wildlife Federation, that piece of property ought to also be certified. And that's easy enough to do with a bird bath and a birdhouse and a couple of plants.
Absolutely.
But if we have space, it seems like we ought to try to do the best we can with the landscaping plan that we're gonna do. So kind of twofold. One, to do the landscaping plan in such a way that it supports pollinators and wildlife and all that. And the second part of that is to provide maybe some areas that could show the public the kind of minimal thing you need to certify your property, you know, and that could be like, you know, literally a bird bath, a bird box, and a couple of plants. And then something maybe longer term or later on, or, you know, if the money's laying around, that's a little bit more elaborate. Say a little pond area, whatever.
So you're saying
And
demonstration
you might have
areas? Okay, yeah.
Educational.
Yeah, like-
basically, but very small. I mean, I don't want something that's crazy to maintain. Really, if you're planting either native plants or pollinator plants, most of those are pretty tough. I mean, pollinators that are non-native, they shouldn't require a ton of maintenance. And I'm not talking about a huge space. We've certainly learned our lesson at the park and the cottage garden. It's a lot of work to keep that thing going. And it's pretty straightforward. So anyway, it's just some ideas that I threw out to Kim over the weekend, just thinking kind of out loud, and I'll leave that.
Let me ask a question. Are there two components, Christina? Is it one that we're going to have an educational garden that'll be native plants, and then we're going to have foundation, then a separate bucket is foundation planting for the building itself?
Yes.
Yeah, it seems to me that.
Because
What is the point of
that
having-
needs to be non-deciduous, in my opinion.
Well,
For
I
the
guess
foundation
it kind of
planting.
depends, but yeah, it could be. What I was getting at with the two things, the educational part's pretty self-explanatory, I guess. But whatever landscaping is gonna be done there, it just seems like we could be more thoughtful than just the standard issue shrubs that everybody puts, not everybody, that most landscapers put at the foundation of things. And they're pretty useless to wildlife. They might provide cover,
Well,
and that's about it.
No, what were you gonna say?
Well, they're not useless to wildlife. I've got Pyracanthus mockingbirds in my Nellie Stevens. I've got robins and
Oh, sure, no.
plants. I mean,
Those are all, I'm talking about the kind that don't provide any kind of berries, they don't provide much of any, I mean, they would still provide cover.
well, I'm just
but
thinking,
Just be a little more thoughtful.
right, I'm just thinking,
And I haven't seen this plan, so I wouldn't know.
yeah, I've not seen anything. I'm just saying that around foundation, you don't want non-deciduous plants.
Here,
Or deciduous, pardon me. And we could do hollies that have berries that are, wildlife friendly. There's a lot of things. I just don't know. My only question, Christina, was, are you, when you say, who's in charge of the landscape for the village hall? Do we have an outside landscape company that's gonna put a plan in?
It's gonna be some subcontractor
That's
of the general contractor.
So what, is he gonna be looking for advice in terms of what?
oh no, I mean, it's like done.
So,
Oh, okay, I didn't
Right.
realize, oh.
so
I'm like, it's like done and approved.
Oh,
here's the
okay.
landscape plan, but we have to have an arborist review, and in that process, the contractor, the engineer agreed to add a condition that, these are the plants that are really easy to find at a nursery, but they will, at the time of planting, look for some native plants to replace some of the plants that are non-native in this list.
So if there's something
Okay.
in this list that you guys don't like or you really like, then we may be able to do something about it, but
Right.
we may not.
Right,
Yeah.
and that was a condition on the tree removal permit,
Well,
that
that-
the replacement plants.
Looks good.
Yeah, and this is the first time I'm seeing this list, and so
Me
if I would just like to look at it a little bit and just if there's anything,
We send
you know, as it comes down to you purchasing things, there's a couple of things on there I would do differently, but it's no big, it's not.
Yeah.
Send me a copy.
Yeah, and that is in the, that's in the
Contract.
works. Yeah, that's in the agreement.
See, you got Japanese holly, which is great. You got arborvitaes.
Okay, so we'll share that out.
Yeah,
And,
and then Christina, as we start
and those
like
that know
clearing the
about
property
plants can make comments.
for construction, then we can start looking at places where we might have like a little pollinator garden that we can add with some of our trees for trash. Trash for trees.
Right,
Trees for trash.
trees for trash.
There you go.
Did I say trash for trees?
Went the second time.
This is what you were saying, Bob, right? Foundation shrubs will be mix of evergreen and deciduous is what they've put here.
But see, like some of those little areas, we could take one or two of those areas and do something that's a little bit more, you know, focused toward what the Wildlife Federation is trying to do. And say, you know, if you add these couple of things together, you've got a certified property.
See, Christina, I'd rather have something, can you draw I would rather have something like away from the building,
Yeah.
like up
Where
in
you can
here.
where we can do our wildlife.
Yes,
Yeah.
where you have
No,
more
that'd be
space,
great.
you're not like right up on the building.
Correct. And then you can do landscaping that's
Yes.
more appropriate for foundation work.
And that wouldn't count as disturbance, so.
Okay.
we're good to
So
go.
something like
Yeah,
that,
that's-
Christina, is what I was thinking.
Right.
That doesn't mean that
That would
that's,
be great.
you know,
I
right.
would really look at that foundation planning on the deciduous. Just an opinion.
Okay.
Well, Rohit's gonna send this out for everybody to look at, and if you guys have suggestions, then send them in.
Yeah. They can.
Or serious concerns about certain
No,
plants.
a lot of it was great.
And let me just ask one more question about the plan. Does it kind of give you, if you see the property, does it tell you where some of these are going?
Yes.
I didn't
Yeah,
see it.
everything has a
Okay.
spot.
So like
Well, there's like
you see the numbers,
200
yeah, but you see
Oh, I
like the
see.
numbers, and then you go to the chart, and then you can say,
Okay.
oh, that's
Perfect.
whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, that's, okay, I see now. Okay,
It's
good,
great.
thank
No,
you.
Nelly
That'll help a
Stevens,
lot.
you know,
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
That used to be the plan of choice.
All right. I think we were then ready for Austin's review of action items.
Okay.
Austin's review.
Oh Lord. Okay. So we'll invite Jamie to the May work session to arrive at 10 a.m. Rohit has actually already sent an email to Chaplin to discuss our ability to build a trail in an existing utility easement. I'll add to the June agenda for y'all to pick a date for the fall trash pickup event. I'll add to the Tuesday council agenda to discuss a well for irrigation for the roundabouts. I'll add to the PRG agenda for June. Roundabout plants. You're talk about your suggestions for the roundabout plantings, and
No, just see where we are, like with once they go out there.
So-
oh, okay, just up. Okay, let's play update.
Just where we
And
are,
that, to
what's
Bob's
dead.
point, we might need to do that faster than the June meeting, because we can't plant anything, we've gotta replace that, we might need to do that.
Well, you can
No,
try.
I'm saying do it that now, but let's get an update where we are in June.
Sure. Yeah,
Okay.
easy.
And let's see. On the June PRG agenda, we'll have before the June PRG agenda, you guys need to come up with a list of ideas for Eagle Scout projects that we'll discuss at that meeting, and then Rohit will send out the landscaping plan for Village Hall.
I've also got the Pocket Park walkthrough,
Oh, yeah.
and I need to send John, sort of what we're trying to do there, so he can put that in his letter to the kiddos.
And I'm supposed to follow up with Mike Gilboy Austin for HOA presidents.
So Christina, you're doing the Pocket Park walkthrough,
Yeah, with
or just
Derek.
everybody doing it?
With Derek, Christina. And then Bob's gonna get up with Mike Gilboy about,
HOA involvement.
How to get that thing going.
Was there anything to contact DOT? I apologize if I missed it. I had to step away for 1 second, but.
yeah.
What?
We need to talk to we need to talk to Christina and Andy about the pitch of the,
And again, I think what was done sounds
What's the
awesome.
action? What's the action item?
Digging.
Helps a lot, but I think we still need to get that ditch done. It sounds like a long-term
so we need
thing,
to talk to Christina and Andy, and then get up with Christina, Andy, Dan, and DOT to tell them that they need to fix it.
Okay, meet with DOT to do what?
Tell them that they need to fix the pitch of the ditch.
Fix pitch of ditch. Okay.
Right? That's right,
That's
right?
right. Yeah, 6 inches.
Pitch of the
Water
ditch.
downhill.
Yeah.
Water flows downhill, not
And,
uphill.
and you got the ongoing list?
Is that yours? I don't have it.
Last page, Bob. You passed me the last page. Sorry. One more time.
Which one?
I forgot.
Last one.
That's what I get for not for the list in the very back.
Oh, here, just have the whole packet.
There you go. Okay.
All right, moving on.
Well, almost. You got to do the list. Derek, move forward with new park signs.
Okay, where are we with park signs, Derek?
About a couple weeks out from ordering, I gotta get an updated expenditure list from Jamie, because I spent a bunch of money last month and had to move a bunch of money around.
Chop chop, Jamie.
Well, she's gotta get all the, what's that thing called, a budget amendment
Yeah.
approved at your next meeting.
Okay,
I think she's already got it in my office.
Yeah,
Okay,
she's
good.
got it written up, she's gotta get it approved, and
okay.
had a
So chop chop council?
emergency expense at the park.
Got it. Okay,
So yeah, chop council.
we'll get it done.
Check on sign designs for the park, Christina. If you guys have done something, we check it off.
This was the conversation we had last time,
This is
me
for the
and
pocket
Eric, and I thought it looked like he'd already done it.
No, this is for the
This
park.
guy had already done that. If not, I'll do it.
Derek, do you have the design for the park signs?
Yeah, I brought it to PRG and
Yeah,
Marvin,
we approved
I think.
it.
Okay, so
And we all
check it
thought
off.
we'd
Check
be-
it off.
yeah.
We're good then.
We were gonna add, I think, just one thing on the certified wildlife habitat.
Yes, that's
That
right.
was it.
Okay, everyone has turned in their forms. Congratulations. Check with Girl Scouts about projects for the pocket park. Christina.
Yeah, I'll do that when I have something to
Yeah, I
tell them to
would
do.
push that to like the fall, because we're not gonna have a pocket park for them to do anything with until then.
I'll put on hold. Okay. Okay, Eagle Scouts for Pocket Park. Same thing on
Whole
hold.
thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
'Cause we're
And
working
we've
on our
also
list.
got some high schoolers that are interested in doing some volunteer work, so I'll be putting them on that list too. They just
Okay.
wanna be-
Perfect.
Rohit, follow up with NCDOT about people not cleaning up their adopted roads.
Oh, they've done it now.
Done it now.
So just check that off the list.
Yeah.
Yep.
Jerks for cleaning up the roads. Okay.
Well, it took them 5 years plus to do something, and I think they heard us. They listened to our meetings. They knew we were going to take their roads away.
I have a feeling they'll be back on the list.
Probably. Yeah, how long does it have to be? 2 years, right? That they don't do anything?
I don't remember.
Sorry, 2 years.
Contact Marvin Elementary art teachers Kim
me. I'm
and
still
Kim and
on.
John.
Yep.
Okay.
Still working on that.
Look into connector from Amber Meadows Trail to commercial corridor. Rohit.
That's
I-
Dan. Dan said he was throwing some 2x4s and a piece of plywood up there.
Walter.
I do have an update on that actually.
Oh,
Is this the
okay.
time
Yes.
to give
Yeah.
that
On the
update?
list.
Yeah, that's on
Okay.
the list.
So the planners from the county have told me that the people who own this property out here, they're looking, there's a separate property in this area, and they're looking to do a conditional rezoning for a cell tower. It's in the county, of course, and so he came to me and said, you know, I noticed that you have some trails in your, you know, plan that, you know, connect this area here. And so they said, would you, in the preliminary phase, want me to throw that on as one of the conditions?
Heck yes.
And I said, yeah, please do. So we've kind of arranged that 20-foot wide trail easement to be dedicated to us will be in this area to connect whatever we end up doing in the Pulte donated property, and this connection here to be also connected to the commercial area.
Oh, hot dog, I'm
Big
digging
red.
dog. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So that's my update.
See, the trail thing's coming together pretty well.
Yeah.
Really
We just need to secure this part here, which again, I've been in constant
They're
contact.
close, aren't they?
They
Aren't
are,
close?
they are.
They're really close.
Right. They do. It's definitely in the email, you know, thread that they want to close out before donating this property, just so they don't run into
I'm
any.
excited about
fine.
that cell tower.
Hmm?
I'm excited about that cell tower.
Yeah, there's some
'Cause
bad service.
Bob, that's your cell tower, you got that one.
I know, Dan, I tell you, maybe we can get some cell service now.
Yeah.
Not to be a squeaky wheel, but, you know, if they're gonna put that in, can we ask them to put the bridge in, that cell tower?
I think the most we could realistically ask them is for the easement, for the right for us to do it.
Okay.
I mean, that's already asking a lot, if you think about it, because it's in the county.
Yeah.
Nobody knows it's your birthday unless you tell them.
Well,
You can always ask. Throw it at, just throw it, tell them. Say, we really like a bridge here. And then they can say yes or no. You don't, the worst they can say is no.
Are they gonna go back from like these Amber Meadows folks and, for kind of the tower
For what?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
there? Are they gonna get some blowback for trying to,
I'm sure they will.
by the Amber
putting
Meadows
power
folks
there.
and the
Yeah.
development?
Well,
What?
he's saying, are we gonna get some blowback from the Amber's Meadows,
For the cell
folks?
tower.
For both the cell tower and the trail connection going this way? I mean, I
I'm
think.
thinking more the tower, but, yeah.
The tower.
Oh, I'm not, I mean, that's the county.
Yeah, I mean, the Amber's Meadows folks can petition against the rezoning, like they do, but that's a utility, that's a pretty standard,
Rezoning request.
rezoning, yeah. They're not planning any development there.
I don't
It's
get
just the
much
cell tower on
assurance
this
that.
entire
Yeah,
property.
I was gonna say,
Which is, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's in a flood zone, so
Yeah.
they wouldn't be able to develop anything,
It's
but
great
that's
rent.
a good use, yeah.
Yeah.
Undevelopable
It's great
property.
rent.
Yeah.
Okay. Look into parking at swim club and storage facility or other alternatives.
I had a question. And I was like, oh, this is a great time to ask her ahead.
This is for trail parking essentially.
Oh, I know, let's go back to the other one.
Oh, this trailer.
Yeah. I don't remember.
Do we have an update on this?
No. Do Anybody ask to swim club? Who's supposed to? Whose name's beside?
I have Rohit's name by it.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. Alright. If my name's by
If we get the bridge there and that trail easement, that solves the parking problem.
Yeah, I think.
right, the people can park here.
Yeah,
will.
and get Andes and get Rosati's and get their nails done and go for a walk.
Mm-hmm. Go for this
Sounds like a
really
full
long-
day.
Get their teeth cleaned.
Mhm.
Maybe buy a new mattress.
Have you noticed how many?
Lug the mattress down the trail.
You know,
must be a lot of money in that.
I know we're saying that, but does it make sense to at least have this conversation with whoever the management company is, letting them know, just to give them a heads up that this is something we're working toward?
I would wait to see if we get the easement
Okay.
and
And that makes sense.
connectivity, and then we can have a conversation. Because if we don't get all that stuff, we may get their feathers ruffled for no reason.
Okay.
If they're gonna get ruffled, I would just wait and see what happens.
Okay, that makes sense.
But then, yeah, I'd say.
I just don't want to put a lot of, because they're gonna need to kind of accede to something that we're connecting to there.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so,
I think if we talk about it right, I think that's a great decision is to wait till you get the easement, but once we have that,
yeah,
I see it as a huge benefit for them
correct.
in the end, so if we
Agreed.
could discuss it with them in a way they could help us out.
I'd rather us come to them
Workout.
to frame it in a certain way than them hearing about it and saying, why is nobody talking to us about it? It's our property, you know?
Yeah, if we talk about it correctly with them or in a good way, positive way,
Correct.
I'll bet they would really like it and maybe help us figure out how to do it.
Yeah. So once we find out about the easement, then I think they're the next part of whether it needs to be a formal easement or not, you know?
Oh, I guarantee
Like a
that they're
parking
gonna be,
easement.
yeah, but I think they're gonna be thrilled to have people being able to walk from Marvin Creek, Tullamore, going through the back, and
Yeah.
then, going to get pizza and Andes and
Mhm.
buy their new mattress and drag it through the woods.
Is that it?
And then look into using Amber Meadows sidewalk for the trail map.
Oh, yeah, that's worth it too, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You weren't here the last meeting. That's why you didn't realize you got volunteered for stuff.
That's what happens.
See, that's what happens. You don't show up for meetings.
Why do you think I'm always here?
Yeah, you get volunteered for stuff. Me too.
All right. Anything else?
That's the entire list.
All right, we move on to board member comments, and I have no comment.
No comment.
Dan, Christina? All right, then
Thank you.
do I hear a motion
Hold on. I got something. I don't normally do a comment, but I'm going to say this. So we expect the governor to repeal the state of emergency in the near future, possibly as early as June 1st. Once that happens, remote participation is no longer authorized by the state, so all board meetings will be in person from then on.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Good with that.
Do I hear a motion on the table to adjourn the Village of Marvin Parks Recreation and Greenway Board meeting on May 4th at 11:15 a.m.?
So moved.
Need a
All in favor,
second?
say aye.
Need a second?
One second. Dan.
Dan.
Okay, there you go.
Aye.
Bye.
All right, thank you.